Hello everybody, my name is Polina Poleschuk. I'm first year student in Business Administration Department of International Business, Institute of Business BSU. The topic that we studied with my supervisor Lugovtsova Elena is how optimism helps to cope with anxiety caused by social networks communication among students during the COVID-19 pandemic. A very negative discussion of the coronavirus epidemic in social networks increases the anxiety of students, which impairs the ability to concentrate on learning, and there is a need to find out by what means both students and teachers themselves can reduce anxiety We decided that one of the personality traits that is associated with the level of anxiety may be optimism. Our hypothesis of the research is optimistic 18-22 years old students have low level of anxiety during COVID-19 pandemic. Our study was conducted among students of the age group from 18 to 22 years old, and you can see the statistic of participants by gender and course. In our research, we used three tests. The first one is Seligman optimism test, the second one Spielberg test, and the third one is a test which determines anxiety associated with COVID-19, which was based on the Jenks scale test. Here are the factors that determine the level of optimism in the Seligman test. It's pessimistic thinking style and optimistic thinking style. And here are the factors. Personal anxiety is understood as a stable individual characteristic that reflects the subject's predisposition to anxiety and suggests that he has a tendency to perceive a fairly wide span of situations as threatening, responding to each of them with a specific reaction. Situational or reactive anxiety as a condition is characterized by subjectively experienced emotion, tension, anxiety, concern, nervousness. This condition occurs as an emotional reaction to a stressful situation and can be different in intensity and dynamism over time. So how results were measured? All three methods were transferred to online forums and sent to online groups of students in different universities of Minsk. Descriptive statistics have been completed. Since the distribution does not differ from the nominal one, the Pearson linear correlation method is used. Between the level of optimism and personal anxiety revealed an inverse mean significant relationship. Accordingly, the higher the level of optimism, the lower personal anxiety. Among all three levels of anxiety, personal, situational, and related specifically to news and discussions in the social networks of COVID-19, a direct average significant correlation was relieved. That is why all levels of anxiety are interconnected. From this, we can conclude that optimism does not have a direct but an indirect effect on students' anxiety associated with COVID. A direct significant relationship has been identified average in strength between such components of optimism as attitudes to bad events and constancy of bad events with personal and reactive anxiety. The more pessimistic the student regarding the duration of the consequences of bad events, the higher his level of anxiety. It was also relieved that those students who are inclined to mentally scale the consequences of negative events on spheres are not initially associated with these events. The variable scaling negative events have a higher level of anxiety associated with regarding news about COVID-19 in social network. Targeted stimulations of optimistic moods and hopes among students will reduce their level of personal anxiety and thereby reduce the level of situational anxiety associated with COVID-19. In this case, it is worth emphasizing that the situation with coronavirus will not necessarily have long-term consequences and will not extend to other areas of life. Particular attention should be given to girls if they are prone to more situational anxiety associated with COVID-19 than boys. Thank you so much for your attention.